At Thugger, man. Top say yo bitch ass ain't slime no more anyway. How you want to do it? Slap. You ain't slap no more. You a spider. You a spider. How y'all feel about that?
Imagine being a young man, just casually dropping a bombshell through your close ally, telling young Thug that his claim to slime status is no longer valid. Not just that, but then challenging him directly. How you want to handle this? Now, pause and rewind for a second. This isn't just any nickname or catchphrase we're talking about. This is young Thug, the very genius who crafted the word slime, who built an entire persona, a whole label, and a cultural empire on that word. And yet, here comes Youngboy through his trusted soldier, Herm Thaw Blacksheet, publicly firing the ultimate diss, telling Thug he's no longer slime. Imagine the weight of that statement. This isn't some indirect hint, a subtle jab hidden in a lyric, or a quiet backstage shot. It's loud and clear, posted for the entire world to witness on Thug's own Instagram. Hermtha Blacksheet, known as Youngboy's right-hand man, the loyal soldier who once famously vowed to tie YB's shoes if they came undone, took to the digital battlefield with zero hesitation. Top, your ass ain't slime no more, Herm wrote, followed by, how you wanna do it? Those words aren't just casual disrespect. They're a signed, sealed, and time-stamped street-level challenge, a public decree from Youngboy's camp directly aimed at one of rap's most iconic and dangerous figures.
Herm, oh yeah, bet that Jeffrey, you know what up. You know what up from here. Herm saying has another message for Thug. Oh yeah, bet Jeffrey know what's up from here.
Jeffrey Lamar Williams, also known as Young Thug. To really grasp why this moment is seismic, you've got to understand what slime truly means in their world. Street slang, sure, but it's much deeper. Young Thug didn't just toss slime into songs for effect. He invented a whole culture around it. The acronym YSL, meaning Young Stoner Life, isn't just a name, it's a movement. The slime language, the YSL jewelry, the slime nation, they're all strands of Young Thug's cultural DNA. He coined slime, turned it into gospel in Atlanta, and then into a global anthem wherever trap music echoed.
Because I don't think the motherfuckers in Minnesota that say it's slime to just
we don't know
any of that shit that you just real talk.
Because you broke it down for people to know.
I think people saying it for their own reasons though. I don't think that, it's just like the inner circle, like the ones that's like literally right here that know my meaning. You know what I'm saying? That was presented the opportunity to be a part of the family. They know the real meaning. You know what I'm saying? Other people that wasn't even presented the opportunity, they just feel like they in the family. I feel like every one of the individuals got their own meaning. They main meaning might be the same thing, but you got your own meaning of why you rocking with us, why you fucking with us, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like the biggest meaning is because we family oriented, you know what I'm saying? We locked in, so people just be like, damn, I feel like most of our fans come from respect, like it's some respectful shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like
To call someone slime is to recognize them as part of that world, loyal and authentic. To say someone isn't slime anymore, that's like stripping away their honor, their identity, their very home. That's exactly what Youngboy did through Herm. He reached into Thug's inner circle and declared, "You don't belong here anymore. You're no longer slime." That's one of the coldest, most surgical forms of disrespect in hip-hop's recent history. And guess when it all went down? Just yesterday, May 15th, 2026. If you think this is just some Twitter banter or social media noise, think again. This is raw, real, and it's about to ripple through the culture in ways you won't want to miss. Stay locked in, because we're just getting started. This isn't just some random clash between two internet figures chasing drama for clicks. No, this is something much bigger. The 4KT movement, representing the Never Broke Again crew, arguably the most powerful and independent force in rap right now. These aren't just rappers making noise. This is a full-blown, commercially thriving operation, with serious influence on the culture and charts alike. Imagine growing up under the shadow of a man who just walked out of one of the most historic and impactful legal battles in hip-hop, a man now serving 15 years of probation. Someone who has to watch every single move carefully, aware that one wrong step could change everything. And then, to hear the words, "Top said you're not who you think you are," laid down like a challenge. That's a heavy loaded statement. But to really grasp the significance of all this, you need way more than just a surface level understanding of who these individuals are in music. You've got to dive deeper into their politics, their social standings, the broader environment they're operating in as we move through 2026. Because without this context, none of these moves, none of these words make any sense. Let me introduce you to Hermthar Black Sheep. If you're familiar with the 4KT world or closely track NBA YoungBoy's inner circle, then you already know Herm isn't just a background player. He's a rapper signed under the Never Broke Again label, firmly planted in YoungBoy's camp. One of the most outspoken and loyal voices supporting the brand. Now, here's a moment that truly defines him. On the Mogul State of Mind podcast, Live on Camera, Herm didn't hesitate to lay it out in the open. He said, and I'm quoting him, he'd literally tie NBA YoungBoy's shoes if they came undone, no questions asked. "I don't care if his shoes get untied," Herm declared. "I'm the one who'll fix it. I'll do whatever it takes to keep this suit tight and sharp." He even pledged to open doors, hold umbrellas when it rains. Anything needed to shield the brand, to keep their image intact and powerful. At the time, a lot of people brushed this off as corny or over the top. Critics said Herm was too entrenched, too deep in YoungBoy's corner. But those observers completely missed the core of what Herm was saying. This wasn't about showing off loyalty as a gimmick. Herm was setting the definition of loyalty itself. He was telling the world exactly who he is, describing the lengths he would go to, and proving in the days that followed he wasn't just talking. Fast forward to May 15th, 2026. The moment Hermthar declared his allegiance turned into an unmistakable reality. When the command came down, when Top demanded action, Herm didn't hesitate, didn't ask any questions. He already knew the script. Without a second thought, he strode over to Young Thug's Instagram and dropped a message for the world to see. A statement so deliberate, so public, it couldn't be ignored. That wasn't just digital bravado. That was a man fully understanding his role and stepping up without hesitation, showing what it truly means to stand in your position and act on it. No matter the target, no matter the fallout, he's on a mission, laser-focused and relentless. Now, let's dive deep into the saga of Young Thug. But here's the key. The thug you need to know for this chapter is not the one from his early hustle days, not the artist from the glory of the lifestyle era, or even the pioneer from the slime language beginnings. This story centers around the young thug of 2026, the post-prison version of the man, stepping into a world that feels almost impossible to navigate. The kind of comeback story that's less about comeback and more about survival in one of the most complicated chapters in rap history. So, what exactly happened? Back in May 2022, Young Thug was arrested in connection to the YSL Ryko case, a sprawling, high-profile trial that Georgia marked as the longest in its criminal history. Prosecutors painted YSL Records not just as a music label, but as an alleged criminal street gang, muddling the lines between art, loyalty, and legality. For over 2.5 years, Thug sat in Cobb County Jail, waiting, watching, and wrestling with the weight of the charges. And then came October 31st, 2024, Halloween. A day of masks and mystery, fitting for the moment, Thug accepted a plea deal that would alter everything. The terms were harsh. 15 years probation, a decade-long ban from the entire metropolitan Atlanta area, his home turf, plus a strict ban on creating any music that could be interpreted as gang-related, barred from any contact with known gang affiliates. On top of that, a backloaded 20-year sentence loomed, ready to snap shut the instant he slipped up or broke any of these rigid conditions. This is the tightrope Young Thug walks every single day now, free on paper, yet completely shackled by restrictions that cage his creativity and connection to the city that shaped him. Atlanta, his heartbeat, is now off limits. YSL, the label that he founded and built, cannot be named in his music without risking everything. Friends and collaborators he once counted on have been scattered by the trial, the convicted behind bars, others estranged by conflict, and some publicly feuding with him. And yet, through it all, Thug hasn't stopped moving forward. In September 2025, he dropped Uy Scooty, an unexpected but powerful return. He's been performing, grinding, rebuilding a career, and a life under intense pressure. But here's the deeper layer, the real story unfolding beneath the surface. The moment Thug was released, he didn't just step back into music, he started settling scores. Within days of his release, a post aimed at Gunna surfaced, his former YSL protege, and the figure many speculate played a controversial role during the trial. That post was deleted quickly, but not before fans exploded with questions. Insiders and analysts pieced together a narrative. While incarcerated, Thug had been sending warnings to Lil Baby and Lil Durk, urging caution around Gunna, suggesting he wasn't loyal or trustworthy. Then, in September 2025, a diss track titled Quibao Closing Arguments leaked to the public. This record was like a bombshell, featuring Thug's raw, unfiltered callouts against Gunna, Yat Gotti, Lil Woody, Slime Life Shoddy, YSL Obama, YSL Slug, and several others. On that track, he didn't just throw shade, he labeled them all rats, exposing betrayals on a very personal level. He came back with a clear message and a list of grievances no one could ignore. Meanwhile, in the background of all this upheaval, a low-key but electric tension has been simmering between Young Thug's camp and the crew linked to NBA Youngboy. It's not an outright public feud, nor is it confirmed beef yet, but two camps watching each other closely, waiting, like the calm before a potential storm. The story isn't finished, and the stage is set for even bigger moves to come. Immense movements within hip-hop often rise from shared roots, intertwined histories, and cultural ties that bind artists and their followers together. Think about Yosemite, the landscape where legacies merge with nature's grandeur, symbolizing something primal and unbreakable. Youngboy, NBA, and Young Thug once seemed intertwined, not just as artists but through personal connections. For instance, Youngboy actually rocks a YSL chain gifted to him by Young Thug himself, a tangible symbol of their bond. But as time has passed, their paths have grown increasingly divergent, carving out different energies, attitudes, and ambitions. Behind the scenes, for months, fans and insiders alike wondered, are 4KTE, Youngboy's faction, and YSL, Young Thug's collective, genuinely aligned? Or are they edging closer to an inevitable clash? The question hung in the air, tense and unresolved, until the early hours of May 15th, 2026 settled the matter once and for all. At exactly 4:21 a.m. on that morning, Seichi, a figure closely linked to these circles, dropped a screenshot on X. Within moments, the entire hip-hop community online stopped in its tracks, because what was posted wasn't a hint, a coded message, or a cryptic subliminal for fans to decode. This was a crystal clear, unambiguous call-out, a message sharp and loaded, bold enough to shake the foundation of these intertwined factions. The message posted was a cold, direct strike and an unmistakable challenge. It read exactly like this: at Thugger_Thugger. Top say your beach at your ass ain't slime no more anyway. How you wanna do it? Let me unpack every piece of this line, because every single word comes packed with meaning and weight, each one like a thunderclap. First, at Thugger_Thugger is Young Thug's Instagram handle, and Herm isn't being subtle or sneaky here. He's calling out Thug publicly, tagging him directly, ensuring Young Thug receives it. Not only that, but the algorithm pushed this message far and wide, leaving zero doubt about who this was intended for, or who was delivering it. It wasn't some shadowy whisper in the dark. This was a direct, unmistakable challenge launched in front of millions of eyes. Next, Top say. Top is none other than NBA, Youngboy's long-standing nickname within his inner circle, not a random or vague mention. This is Herm explicitly connecting himself to Youngboy's authority and voice. Herm is not freelancing or speaking on his own behalf. He's acting as a direct emissary, a messenger delivering an official statement. This message doesn't stem from some minor disagreement or foot soldier's grudge. This elevates the spat to a principle-level declaration. Youngboy, an artist who never broke again, one of the most influential independent forces in modern rap, has taken issue with Young Thug. And instead of confronting him directly, he sent his most trusted and loyal ally, Herm, to deliver the message bluntly and publicly. Then, the layer that makes this moment historic in rap history for its level of disrespect. Your beach at your ass, ain't slime no more, anyway. The word slime isn't just any insult. It's a term deeply embedded in Young Thug's identity and legacy. Young Thug popularized slime as a term of deep brotherhood, street loyalty, and genuine authenticity. It's why YSL is more than just letters. Young Stoner life is infused with the essence of slime. He built an entire movement and soundscape around this idea. The slime language albums, the culture, the vibe. By saying, "You ain't slime no more," Herm isn't just insulting Thug. He's claiming Young Thug has lost his core, his identity, and his street credibility, all in one ruthless retort. The line redefines the battleground of respect and dominance in rap, turning a cultural emblem into a weapon of ultimate diss, shaking the foundations of an entire legacy. Here's why the whole collective proudly calls itself Slime Nation, and why this name holds so much weight in hip-hop culture. For over a decade, if you ever claimed the title Slime in this world, it was more than just a nickname. It was a nod of respect to Young Thug's cultural legacy. It was a way of tipping your hat to the man who helped shape a whole movement. But then, Youngboy and Herm flipped the script entirely. They took that very word, that badge of honor, and dropped a verdict that shook the foundation. You're not slime anymore. Your claim has been stripped away. Imagine being told you've lost the one title that has defined your entire reputation in the industry. This wasn't merely a diss. It was a full-on cultural execution. It was the kind of statement that left zero room for doubt or debate. And it didn't stop there. The message came with a challenge that was crystal clear, unapologetically bold, and downright intimidating in its simplicity. How do you want to handle this? Name your terms, we're ready. There wasn't a subtle threat disguised behind vague words or indirect hints. No, this was a direct call for action, an open invitation for a showdown. The internet immediately picked up on the gravity of what had been said. Within hours, the post had exploded across every major hip-hop platform imaginable. Comment sections erupted with reactions from all corners of the community, with people who normally wouldn't engage even jumping into the fray. The sheer nerve of that message was impossible to ignore. But here's where it gets even more intense. The timing could not have been more strategic. Young Thug had just been released from a high-profile RICO case, walking a tightrope on probation, banned from Atlanta, and facing public conflicts even within his own team. His image, his legacy, was already under immense pressure, and he was fighting to regain control and shape his narrative on what YSL truly meant. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Youngboy's camp steps up and delivers this cutting blow. "You're not slime. How do you want to handle it?" This was no random jab. This was a laser-focused strike aimed directly at Thug's identity and credibility. Even more surprising, it didn't come from someone inside YSL or a rival label. It came from 4KT, one of the most organized and influential independent forces in rap right now. And they arrived at a moment when Thug's hands were tied, making it even harder for him to respond. But the story doesn't end there. The YSL camp didn't just stand by quietly. Before Young Thug had even made a public response to Herm's declaration, members from his inner circle were already stepping up to confront it head-on. The energy from Thug's side was immediate and intense, signaling that this challenge was about to escalate into something much more than social media back and forth. This wasn't some frantic panic or hurried scrambling. No, this was something else entirely. It was calm, calculated, and carried the unmistakable confidence of people who know they have unwavering backing. It was the kind of presence that says, without hesitation, "We see you. We hear what you said. Now, know exactly who you're dealing with." It was a quiet, yet powerful declaration of control. And then, without skipping a beat, Young Thug stepped right into the ring himself, shifting the energy of the conversation. Thug didn't just respond, he struck with precision, calling Herm a fan. Now, pause for a moment and understand what that means in the intricate unspoken rules of street and hip-hop respect. Calling someone a fan is one of the sharpest, most cutting dismissals you can throw. It's no mere insult. It's a direct refusal to acknowledge legitimacy or authority. The message? You're a spectator. You worship from the sidelines. You don't have the standing or the right to address me face to face. Young Thug was essentially telling Herm, you've built your identity around loyalty to someone, else riding for another man, and that only makes you a fan, not a contender who can step up to me. It was a cold, razor-sharp move. Beyond just defending himself, Thug was dismantling Herm's entire position, drawing a clear line between out-of-touch dedication and genuine relevance. This moment was raw, strategic, and classic Thug. Instead of validating the challenge, he erased it, branding the challenger beneath his notice. When Thug dropped that label, the internet exploded. 4KT supporters seethed, furious at what they saw as disrespect. Meanwhile, YSL fans chimed in, praising it as the flawless reply, the perfect shutdown. But the impartial onlookers, those just keeping score from the sidelines, saw something deeper, a spark in an already volatile situation. Because calling Herm a fan wasn't just an insult. It was an outright brush-off that denied YB's power to send someone. If you don't accept the messenger, you're rejecting the message's source as well. That's a bold, unmistakable challenge fired right back. And just hours later, by 1:56 p.m. on that very day, Herm responded with a message that everyone familiar with this culture instantly understood. Just 7 words. You know what's up from here. Those words carry weight, raw and unambiguous. There's no room for misinterpretation. You know what's up from here is the phrase you say when words have run their course and what comes next is action, not talk. Picture where Herm stands at that moment. He's delivered a direct message from the top, publicly tagged Young Thug, and received a sharp dismissal. Now, with those 7 words, Herm is signaling clearly. The conversation is over, and the next chapter, whatever it may be, is about to unfold. He delivered that message straight up. No beating around the bush, no cryptic language, no sneaky hints. Just raw, crystal clear words that left no room for doubt. And then, the person he was calling out didn't just brush it off quietly. No. In front of millions of viewers, that person labeled him a fan, completely minimizing his stance. Imagine being called a fan, not a critic, not a rival, but a fan, right there in front of a massive audience. It was more than an insult. It was a public dismissal that could have crushed his credibility and silenced him immediately. At that crossroads, he faced a crucial choice. Retreat into silence and let the broadcasted dismissal shape the story for everyone else, or stand his ground and make it unmistakably clear that he wasn't backing down, not one bit, no matter what came next. He made the bold choice to double down. With just 7 powerful words, he erased any subtlety and left nothing to chance or interpretation. Those words hit hard, sparking a fire that burned far beyond just online chatter. Here's why this moment is so important, stretching well beyond the usual internet drama. For starters, Herm refusing to back down sends a powerful message. Top's initial warning wasn't just empty talk or a bluff. Think about it. When you send someone to deliver a message and that messenger is publicly dismissed, the safest route for them usually is to stay silent and let it blow over. But Herm did the exact opposite. By standing firm and responding boldly, he confirmed that behind these words lies serious intent. There's real support, a structured plan, and undeniable backing behind what was said. In the world of posturing and threats, an empty bluff falls silent quickly. But this wasn't silent, it roared. Now, the piece a lot of people are overlooking is the precarious position Young Thug finds himself in legally, which adds a whole new layer of intensity to this confrontation. He's not just facing typical pressures. Thug is operating under the weight of serious legal restrictions. 15 years of probation, a hard line forbidding any connection with known gang members, strict rules against anything that looks like gang-related behavior or threats, and a looming 20-year suspended sentence hanging over him like a dark cloud. Every move he makes, from his social media posts to the people he associates with, is under intense scrutiny. The challenge here is massive. If this feud crosses the line from online noise to real-world conflict, Thug stands to lose more than anyone else involved. This imbalance, it's crucial, because what Herm and the 4KT crew seem to fully grasp is that Thug's hands aren't free to fight back the way he might want to. While 4KT can be aggressive, push the envelope, and escalate the drama with bold moves and energetic messaging, Thug has to be calculating and cautious. He's carrying the burden of legal limits that force him to think twice before reacting. He's navigating a minefield, always aware that any wrong step could trigger serious consequences. Meanwhile, 4KT has been watching all of this unfold for months, studying exactly what Thug can and can't do under these constraints. They knowingly chose this moment, the fragile period when Thug is trying to rebuild, when his group YSL is fractured, and when he's publicly at odds with former allies, to send this sharp message about slime status. And that choice, that timing, is anything but accidental. An accident. That phrase alone barely scratches the surface, but it's the way Herm delivered the line, "Ain't slime no more anyway," that demands a deeper look. That anyway? It's not just a casual throw-in. It carries weight, a sharp edge that slices right through the whole narrative. Herm wasn't simply saying, "You're not slime." Nope. He put it like this: "You ain't slime no more anyway." That little word flips the entire meaning. It's a cold dismissal, like saying, "This has been true all along, even before you realized it." It's a subtle but brutal way of telling someone their status has already been stripped from them, independent of any recent actions. This isn't a punishment handed down because of something you did. It was reality long before, and you were just the last to find out. The casual tone, the "anyway," makes the cut sharper than a direct insult would. In rap terms, it's the ultimate, "we moved on without you, you're just stuck trying to catch up" moment. That's the message Youngboy sent to Young Thug, and it's exactly what Herm committed to record for the whole world to hear. Now, if we zoom out and take a step back to 2026, we need to really understand the backdrop behind these lyrics. The circumstances both camps find themselves in add crucial layers to the story. Young Thug, in particular, is navigating one of the most complicated and emotionally charged public battles in hip-hop's recent memory. On paper, he walked out of a plea deal and is technically free, but in reality, he's far from unshackled. Banished from Atlanta for the next 10 years, on strict probation, watching his YSL family, his crew, his legacy, fracture and scatter as he returns. And the world he comes back to, totally transformed. The rap game has evolved dramatically while he was locked up. Despite all this, there's no doubt about Thug's resilience. Anyone who's followed his journey knows this is a man who has survived ordeals that would break many others. Still, cracks are beginning to show. His bond with Gunna, once tight-knit, is broken. The diss track clearing pointed at former allies makes it clear Thug feels deeply betrayed. The death of rich homie Quan, a close comrade from the past, casts a dark shadow, especially as Thug was reportedly preparing to testify against him. The internal conflicts within YSL have been loud and painful, echoing through the community. Yet, through it all, Thug continues to create music, still releases projects, and commands the stage. He isn't fading quietly. His core loyal fans haven't left either. But when you're on probation, caught in public disputes with much of your former circle, and facing relentless pressure from a powerful camp like 4KT coming for you, you're not exactly operating at full power. You're navigating a battlefield with many cracks beneath your feet. Now, let's flip the coin and look at 4KT. NBA Youngboy just wrapped up the massive Massa Tour, a relentless marathon of 40 back-to-back sold-out shows, an astonishing 500,000 tickets moved, and nearly $70 million in revenue generated. His Dallas concert at the American Airlines Center set a personal attendance record, reaffirming his dominance. This is a camp riding high, backed by momentum, financial success, and a solid fan base hungry for more. The contrast between where NBA Youngboy is at and where Young Thug finds himself in 2026 couldn't be starker. It's a clash of energy, strategy, and survival instincts, playing out on the grand stage of hip-hop's ever-evolving drama. The Barclays Center show in New York didn't just mark another stop on the tour. It exploded into his biggest grossing night ever, raking in a staggering $1.9 million. That night alone became a historic milestone, a testament to his unstoppable rise. Meanwhile, his dominance over streaming platforms remains unchallenged, with numbers that continue to climb and break records. But it's not just about the music or the money. His fan base stands out for its unmatched passion and relentless support. They aren't just casual listeners. These are some of the most organized and fiercely loyal followers any artist in contemporary hip-hop could ask for. His entire team is operating like a well-oiled machine, tight, focused, and unified. No messy distractions, no leaks, no whispers of betrayal tarnishing their collective image. Their reputation is spotless. On the other hand, if you look at NBA Youngboy's camp, the picture couldn't be more different. There's a clear absence of public conflicts, no drama spilling into social media, and no blatant internal disputes making headlines. The contrast between these two worlds couldn't be more pronounced, and that stark difference is exactly why Herm's message lands with such precision and impact. This message didn't come out of nowhere, and it definitely wasn't sent during a weak moment. No, it thundered down from a place of undeniable strength, right after one of the most successful independent rap tours ever seen in America. At precisely the moment when YSL appears fractured, Herm's words cut through, sharp and strategic. To anyone paying attention, this timing feels like more than coincidence. It's a calculated move with deep implications. Street insiders and industry observers have been watching this build-up for months, sensing the tension rising. Some expected that, given Young Thug's post-prison behavior, his aggressive social media presence, his public run-ins with former allies, the mounting online beefs, there was only so much patience the opposing camp could have. And when it came to NBA Youngboy's side, there was never going to be a backing down, no retreat in sight. But here's the real heart of the story. Herm's message isn't just another jab in a rap war, it's a declaration with profound meaning. The 4KT camp isn't just challenging Young Thug's music or his status as a rival. They've effectively stripped away his slime card. And this decision isn't rooted in beats or bars. It stems from how Young Thug has presented himself publicly and personally in the eyes of those watching. The phrase, "your bitch ass ain't slime no more," isn't just a diss. It carries a moral weight. It's a judgment on character, implying that Thug no longer embodies the values of loyalty and brotherhood that once defined him. This isn't just disrespect. It's an existential blow to a legacy that built not only a career, but a culture. It's saying that his actions, his alliances, and his attitudes have led to a verdict from those who've always been the ultimate arbiters of respect and honor in that world. This isn't just about two individuals or a singular clash. The 4KT versus YSL rivalry represents one of the most significant unseen power shifts in modern rap history. At first glance, these two groups shared roots, respect, and cultural connections. NB, a Youngboy once wore an YSL chain proudly. Young Thug openly advocated for Youngboy's freedom back in 2021 during one of his toughest moments. The love and respect between these camps were real once. But in hip-hop, especially the kind of street-rooted rap they both represent, respect can be fragile and love can quickly turn to tension. Bonds that once felt unbreakable can turn into fault lines when ambition, loyalty, and power collide. This isn't just drama, it's a reshaping of alliances with consequences that ripple far beyond the music. Alliance and affiliation, they might sound like just words, but in the world of hip-hop, they are entirely different currencies with immense power. What happened on May 15th wasn't just another day. It was the moment the fragile alliance that held two powerful camps together officially shattered. Or at the very least, the 4KT side made it crystal clear. They're done. They've etched that decision into the record for all to see. To understand the full weight of this, you have to realize this isn't about some random music labels. YSL and 4KT are monumental forces, each a living movement with deep roots, dedicated people, unshakable loyalty, and an intricate infrastructure that goes well beyond beats and rhymes. When two movements with this much influence and passion go from shared space to full-on conflict, the shockwaves extend far beyond just the names involved. Think about it. Rappers who once moved gracefully between these worlds now face treacherous waters, forced to tread carefully when it comes to collaborations or public support. Features that might have once seemed routine suddenly become loaded with tension and risk. The historic bond between Atlanta and Baton Rouge's rap scenes, previously intertwined and cooperative, grows tangled and charged with uncertainty. And then there's the looming question of what Young Thug can even do from here. He made the move to call out Herm as a fan, a subtle but unmistakable jab. Herm's response? He definitely caught the message loud and clear. But what happens if Thug takes this further? He's already balancing on a razor's edge. Escalate, and he risks attracting serious legal consequences he simply can't afford right now. Stay silent, though, and it could look like he's been silenced, outmatched by someone in the other camp. Addressing it musically isn't a free pass either. There are limitations placing him in a box that 4KT men deliberately designed. But the heart of this story is in one phrase that cut deep. Ain't slime no more. It's far more than a personal attack. It's a powerful statement about legacy, respect, and what it means to carry a name. Young Thug didn't just create a sound, he built slime culture from the ground up. It became a language, a movement, the heartbeat of countless artists and fans worldwide. And now, the most commercially dominant faction in this culture has openly declared that the very person who laid its foundation no longer measures up. Whether you agree or not, this isn't just talk, it's on record, indelible. A benchmark no conversation about Thug's place in the culture can avoid. Real recognizes real, and from 4KT's perspective, what they see no longer qualifies as the real deal. The future, it's anyone's guess. There's still room for resolution. Someone could step in, temper the tensions, and bring this to a quiet end. It's happened before, especially when both sides have legal battles that make further conflict risky beyond just reputations. But there's also a chance this is just the surface of a much deeper story waiting to unfold publicly. What's undeniable is that this moment marks a turning point, not just in careers, but in the culture itself. It's the kind of chapter that will be talked about for years, shaping legacies and reminding everyone how quickly alliances that once seemed unbreakable can shatter in the spotlight. If you found this breakdown compelling, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, share this story with your friends, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what you think about this dramatic shift in the hip-hop landscape. Stay tuned. There's always more to the story.